So I am on my way out of church after we just had our confirmation exam, because confirmation Sunday is coming up this Sunday. All of our confirmants did awesome, and we're excited to celebrate that they've learned about the promises that God made to them in their baptism, and have learned the fundamentals of their faith so they can continue growing and stepping forward, knowing what Jesus has done by dying and rising again for us. So congrats to those confirmants. I gotta tell you, being here at church tonight, doing the test, it felt weird. A good weird, but it felt weird because this is the first time we've gathered in person for confirmation since last year before COVID. Because last year, we had class wrapped up and then there was COVID, and then we didn't do our test or our review or test in person. We did it all online to wrap that all up. We gathered for our confirmation celebration in person last fall, because we delayed everything because we weren't meeting in person for worship at the time. But we didn't do any review or class or anything in person. That was all done online. And then class this year was all online. And so getting together today to do the test, it felt weird. And it made me, appreciate times that when we doing things like in person. But I think maybe the weirdest thing about how I felt tonight was the fact that it felt weird. You know what I mean? Like, I was just thinking, I'm like, man, this is such a normal thing to do, like just to get together, do a test. But because of all that happened in the world this last year, that very normal thing felt weird. Because the world had shifted that much this last year that just seemed different, seemed strange. Now, I'm hopeful and I'm excited that things seem to just keep taking step towards being more normal, and before long things like this won't seem weird anymore and they'll just be back to normal and things like that. And I'm hopeful for that. But there's something that has happened to all of us who believe in Christ that really does shake up the way we view the whole world. In 2 Corinthians chapter 5, Paul talks about how we don't view anyone from a worldly perspective anymore, but we view everyone from a heavenly perspective, from God's viewpoint. It says that we were used to review Christ in an earthly way, but we don't do that anymore. Now we see him for who he is, and we see people for who they are. And when you're brought to faith in Jesus, when you realize the truth of who God is, when you begin to see the truth that he created all this for a purpose, that he created us to be walking pictures of him, that when you begin to see the fact that the reason why there's brokenness and stuff in this world is the fact that we turned away from him, but by his grace he pursued us and he became one of us to live the life we were meant to live, to die the death we deserve to die, but then to rise to give us the life he intended for us so we can have eternity with him and be transformed by him now. When you begin to see all that, you know what? Things that used to be normal might seem weird. Things we used to run after, things we used to fix our energy on, things we used to worry about, things that we used to live for, ways that we used to live might seem weird to us. But unlike all the stuff pre-COVID, let's not go back. Old things can look weird, and let's keep them that way. Let's see the world a different way, God's way.